Hello, all. Thanks for listening. This is Music and Math podcast, and it's been a while. I stopped making a podcast program for last 6 months, half a year almost. That is because I was kind of busy. At first, I mentioned before, December, that I finally found a job. I've been looking for a job for another 6 months, right? Since 1 year ago, almost about. In the last year, I've been looking for a new job because I was fired. And luckily, I got an offer from AI developing company in Japan, and I started the job since January. The first day was fifth, fourth. Anyway, so it was quite busy, but since then things happened, and I have no time for recording this podcast program at all. But now it's today is Sunday, June 23rd, 2024. Yeah, finally, I guess things are settling down. Oh, by the way, I quit that job at the end of February, so I just worked for 2 months. The reason why I quit is mainly because of my private stuff. That private thing is that, I mentioned many times in the English episodes, I guess. We had a dog, Shih Tzu dog. Her name is Monton. She was with us since we were living in Canada, Edmonton. Her name, Monton, is taken from the city name, Edmonton, by the way. So it was 16 years ago. And after we had Monton, a few years later, we decided to go back to Japan. So we brought her to Japan. But, she's in Canada, and here in Japan, especially, we lived in Kanazawa. It's so different in the environment, especially the humidity. Here, within Japan, this Hokuriku region, Kanazawa, it's very, very humid. If we put a paper anywhere in the room, in a few days, a week later, the paper, the feeling is a bit different, like a thick and heavy kind of feeling, and that is because of the humidity. Yeah, and the temperature is so different from Canada. So it must be tough for Monton. She passed away this February, and that means a lot. And at that time I can't continue a job, a rather tough, busy job, right? AI development. I can't continue that, so I asked the company that. Then I quit at the end of February. And in a way, I took some rest, and it took quite a while, several months actually. In Japan, this is coming, I guess, from Japanese Buddhism custom culture that after a person passed away, the first 7 days is some milestone in a way, and then the next milestone is 49th day, 7 weeks, and so roughly 2 months. It's a customary thing, I thought, but actually that is the time we need to get over the grief, I think. And then I gradually start things, and actually the first thing I did was writing books. Yeah, actually I mentioned frequently I was joining Tech Book Fest for self-publishing technology book, let's say, event online as well as the real event. That was held at the end of May. So I thought that that's a good chance to do something. So I have a couple of leftovers for writing books plans, and I try some of them. Not one book, but a couple of books. Two books, actually, two projects, let's say. And actually, I did it. At the end, it turns into 5 books newly published at this event. One is a kind of a really technical physics book. I compiled my master thesis and the other review article written in Japanese, and putting appendix of my master thesis. That's the purpose of this book publication, because the appendix is not published publicly. And it's not, academically, it's not meaningful, but it's a kind of a study note kind of thing, master thesis, right? So at the time, that was almost 30 years ago, I wrote the master thesis, and at the time, I was studying the topics by myself, basically, because I chose a field where no professor around me was doing. The choice was partially intended. I want to do by myself. I have a tendency. So that's basically I was writing a textbook for myself, actually, that kind of thing. So that book was thick at the end. As I said, yeah, I just compile the related stuff I've written before, and the pages is like 286 pages, huge. And I printed, actually. I love paper book. This tech book festival, we may sell PDF, electronic format, as well as paper binding book. The choice was optional, we may choose either way or both way. But I love paper book, and I'm a old school and old guy. Yeah, so I really want a paper book. That's the purpose of my writing. So, and at this time, I use Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing system for a printing. This, self-publishing project, people usually use small publishing companies. They're working for this self-publishing book printing specifically. Yeah, this is a new try for me, using Amazon as a printing company. It was okay, it was good. We can ask them, Amazon, to get proof copy for checking, proofreading, then finally published. And the price is, the authors can get the printing book with only a printing cost, and the price is reasonable. So yeah, it's okay. And after finishing those physics book, as I said, I have some leftovers of book writing project. That is essay book from this podcast program, exactly. And the last year, I published excerpt of those episodes in this music and math podcast. And at the beginning, the focus was for the first year of this podcast. This podcast started when? 22? In May. And now I'm calling this is season 3. We are in season 3. 2024 is the season 3. So the first plan for this essay book was to publish my talking in a book format, and we have a couple of categories of this episode. Now we have a normal talk episode and piano episode, music episode. Those 3 categories are in Japanese talking, and the 4th category is this English speaking episodes, right? So the plan was to compile the first year episodes into a book format. And try to do that. The draft was there ready. As you can see on this podcast WordPress page, I put a transcription using Whisper, OpenAI's AI program. It's far from complete text, so I need to rewrite almost everything, from oral conversational style into a book written style, as well as fixing the mistakes of typos and that kind of thing done by AI. And the total number of the first year of this podcast was 48. But because of the schedule last year, I only picked how many? I can only put 14 episodes in the book, excerpt. Yeah, that's why I put the title excerpt. Oh, by the way, the title of this essay book is Podcast Macht, Frei. Podcast Make Us Free. And that macht, frei, that is taken from Ryuichi Sakamoto's autobiography, Music Macht, Frei. But I put it because I only put 14 episodes, so I put it excerpt at the end. So there are many leftovers, 48 minus 14, right? So there are many episodes left. And moreover, in those 14 episodes, I only picked Japanese talking episode. So no English episode at all. At the beginning, the plan was that, okay, so let's make a kind of a bilingual book. Not, the translation of the Japanese episode into English, but put the Japanese episode into Japanese and put English episode in the English format as well. And the binding. English book is from left to right, right? But Japanese book, especially if we typeset in a vertical way, the book is going from right to left. So the plan was that bind, so there are 2 front pages. Left front page is for the Japanese front page, and the right front page is for the English episodes. If you open the book from the, if you open the book in the right to left way, you can read Japanese episode in a natural way. If you open the book from left to right way, you can read English book in the middle up to the midpoint. That's the plan, dual side book plan. But as I said, that I only picked a Japanese episode for this excerpt volume. So this is the normal Japanese book. So at this time, around April, May, the event start at the end of May. Around that time, after finishing physics book, I remember that, okay, so I have leftovers. Let's finish this essay project. And so there are more than 34 episodes left over. Drafts were there, so all I have to do is to, proofreading, fixing the styles, that kind of thing. But the volume was huge. It was tough, actually, but good exercise in a way, rehabilitation, I think. And I've done in the event, I missed the beginning of the event. The event runs for 2 weeks, and I finished writing those essay manuscript roughly in the middle. But the volume was huge. The page count goes beyond 300 pages. So, thicker than the physics book. And I thought maybe reader hate the thick book, especially for this event. Usually people write tech book. There is no official average numbers, but my impression is that most books are like 100 pages or less. So at the end, I decided let's spread the leftover manuscript for 34 episodes into 4 books. 4 means that, as I said, this podcast, we have 4 categories: talk, piano, music, and English. So I split the episodes into those categories, and it's, the final pages of each volume is like, as I said, roughly 100 pages around. So for this event, at the end, I actually finished writing 4 books plus 1 book, so 5 books. It was fun. Maybe essay books are not exactly a tech book, so it's not that popular in the event, unfortunately. But I'm happy with finishing those stuff. Kind of leftover homework stuff I've done. And yeah, is that it? Yeah. For this English volume, the English is the 4th volume. The title is, Essay, Music and Math. Podcast Macht, Frei, Addendum 4, English. A long name, but this is the English version. And if you are interested in, you are listening this podcast, so content is on the podcast first year. So season 1 and 2, actually. But if you want to read book, text, you can get. I put it on Amazon, so you may buy the book from Amazon. Please take a look. So that's a story of the last few months, I think. And gradually I getting in back to the, I restart this music and math podcast. This recording English episode is the 2nd episode, and the last episode was a piano episode. Yes, I play piano for the episode. Those 6 months I was busy, as I said, meaning that I didn't play piano at all, almost. So everything I'm getting was gone, so I retrain again. Yeah, I'm working on that as well. I start actually, motivation is important, so I start a new repertoire actually. that is necessary. I think I realized that curiosity, motivation are important. I found recently that I found a YouTube video for a Brad Melrose playing the intro of this standard My Romance. I love his playing. The intro was very beautiful. I've been looking for, or I've been trying to transcribe his playing using my program Wow, but it's not that, it's not that easy. But at this occasion, the last time I need to record the piano episode for this podcast, I just Google it. There must be someone who did this transcription. Then I got it. Korean pianist, YouTuber, pianist, Yoon Ji-hee, I'm not sure how to pronounce. She played as well as showing score she transcribed. So that's it. It's there. So yeah, and then I try to play that. That was fun. And so I try to practice regularly again. So that's the situation now. And yeah, I'm now free, and meaning that I don't have a job now. And as I said, I wrote books and I publish books by myself, right? So for time being, for now, I think I'm working as a publisher, small publisher position, and try to sell my books. That's my job. So please buy my books. Actually, I have 10 books written, I think, because I wrote 5 at this time, and before that, I have 1, 2. Yeah, I have 2 more books, as well as I'm compile a magazine for AI forum I was organizing. 2 volumes were published. So as a publisher, I have 10 books. That's my business. And, if you are interested in, please take a look at those books. But yeah, publishing business is not a... In Japan, people are discussing that, the publishing business. But anyway, so that's it. Maybe. Thanks for listening. And peace and love.